The order, have we?
It's a new dawn, Rob.
Okay.
Good to see you again.
You too again.
Let's just we'll start off with a number of new faces coming in, uncapped, a number of retirements. Let's start with retirements of May, first of all, because he was the biggest player Wales have ever had. First time now since 2006 you're going into a qualifying campaign without Gareth Bale. What will life without Gareth Bale look like?
Yeah, well, I think we've got to acknowledge what the lads have retired, what they've done for us over the last few years, and they deserve all the credit that they're going to get from it, because I think they've been, unbelievable in what they've done for us as a nation, and a massive part of the success that we've had. Life goes on. There's going to be retirements. It gives us an opportunity now to sympathetically introduce these younger players. And you've seen by the squad that the starting 11 isn't going to look too different to the starting 11 we've had over recent years. It's got us the success that we've had, but the bench will look a little bit different then. So you've got to be sympathetic in how you introduce these. But of course it's strange. Gareth was an unbelievable servant for Wales and a player, and of course he's going to be missed. But life goes on, and we have to plan for the next Gareth Bale to come through.
What were the conversations with Gareth like? Because obviously he took a little bit of time afterwards and spoke with you. What were those conversations centering around? Was there any chance that he could have continued?
No, from a playing point of view, no, absolutely not. I believe he's made the right decision for the right time for him and his family. He's a young man still, and he's got a young family, and why not now go and enjoy the rest of your life with your kids and enjoy it. And that's the conversation we had. We did say that we would keep in touch, and there'll be no surprises to hear that a round of golf was mentioned in that as well. So we'll meet and we'll have discussions, and he's still interested. This is a big thing for him. Listening to the staff, you can speak to the staff about his planning for what he wants to do, and this has been a really difficult decision for him to make, to retire. Playing for Wales has been a massive part of his career, and one that he's absolutely loved. He's never missed a camp for us, barring any major injuries. So it was a big decision for him to make, and he still wants to be involved in whatever capacity that is. And if it means I can meet him and have conversations with him on and off the field about issues, then I will do that.
Can I just pick up on that? Because Gareth's been very, very clear over the last 18 months, 2 years in conversations, that when he were to step away from playing, he still wanted to be involved in Wales. It meant too much to him. He made that very, very clear in interviews with me and with others for 2 years. So, and interesting, I think in his the words when he used when he retired, I'm stepping away for now. So, is Gareth Bale going to play a part in some form or another with Wales in the future? And what part do you have in that as well, Rob?
Well, yeah, as long as I'm here, I'd like Gareth to be a part of it. And like I said, whether that is part of a committee, Geraint, that we just, bounce things off, or not myself from a footballing point of view, but the chief exec or some of the staff. But we appreciate his value and what he can offer off the pitch as well. I always did on camp when he was my captain. I always, if I wanted to change things, I told you about the committee we had, but Gareth was a big part of that, being the captain as well. So I used to involve him in discussions like that, and I will still have that ongoing relationship with him, albeit he won't be as part of the 26-man squad.
So for the time being, nothing formal like you bringing him on your backroom staff?
No, nothing like that. Yeah.
Moving to the new guard, more than 4 new faces. You got a bit uncapped players and players that haven't been capped for a while. Your contract, when it was given to you, the 4-year contract, again, when you spoke to me and others, effectively what you're saying is, it's the World Cup, let's make it brilliant, but your job's kind of started now. A new journey. You knew this was going to happen. You knew Gareth Bale was going to retire. You had to rebuild a new Wales. So how do you rebuild a new Wales?
Yeah, I think I've used a phrase this morning to the staff: reset and reframe. After the World Cup, we reset, we have a look, we learn lessons learnt, and we reframe. So we've brought new additions into the backroom staff as well, great additions in my opinion, and they're going to add a lot of value, and that's what we do now. I was already planning this before the World Cup. We knew that we were going to go out there and want to compete, but I knew as soon as the World Cup had finished, we had this evolution then that was going to happen, and it's gone exactly how I expected it to. The planning for this camp the new faces that I wanted to bring in. I think there's no surprises to the lads I brought in. I think they've going to freshen things up, and some of the lads I brought in are in form at the club at the minute, scoring goals at a decent level, and a lot of it is it speaks for itself.
Another thing you've got to do with no Gareth Bale, you've got to find a new captain.
Yeah.
Who's your captain?
Aaron Ramsey. Yeah. So I think Aaron was, I know Aaron was vice captain behind Gareth. And for me, it's the natural progression of how I see it. Aaron's still got a lot of football to play. He's playing arguably his best football at Nice at the minute. And while we've still got somebody of Aaron's quality available to us, then we will absolutely have him in the squads. And for me, it's a natural progression to give him the armband.
Close call between him and Ben Davies, because Ben's taken the armband before, hasn't he?
Yeah, of course he has. Yeah, if Aaron's not been there, Ben was the next one. You know, if Gareth ever come off the pitch, Aaron was the next one to take the armband. The relationship between Gareth and Aaron, in captain and vice captain, will be the same now with Aaron and Ben. You know, I do see Ben as a captain in future, and his time will come, absolutely. But for the here and now, it's an opportunity for me to give Aaron Ramsey the captain and lead, and it's an important part for him. He's got a big responsibility with the younger players. You know, there's going to be young faces coming into camp every other camp, and he's got an important part to play with regards to showing those younger players what he's all about, what it means to be a Welsh player, and what it means to wear the armband. And I think at this moment in time, there's nobody better than Aaron to do that.
Lovely. Thanks very much, Rob.
Thanks, Gareth.
Hi, Rob. Hi, Rob.
Hi, Rob.
With Aaron, he's had the captaincy before, and it was then taken off him, Chris, to give Ashley Williams in a reset of the Wales squad. You remember it well at the time. How much better equipped is he now to deal with the captaincy? Yeah,
all the experience he's had in between. That was part of my reasoning for it as well. You know, I was a supporter myself back then, watching it all unfold, and you know, I've been a captain luckily all my life, and to have given the armband and then have it taken off you would have maybe hurt him a little bit as well. You know, so he's in the right time of his career now to go and represent Wales, lead the boys out, and show those young players in that camp what it's all about, what it means to represent your country. And he's relishing it. The staff have spoke this morning. You know, he's been on the phone every other day. And, you know, he's really, really enjoying and embraced every minute so far of being the captain.
Was he surprised when you rang him and said, or spoke to him and said, Aaron, I want you to be my new skipper?
Well, I mean, you'd have to ask him that. But what I will say is he was really appreciative of it. And it meant the world to him. And yeah, he was with his wife in France at the time, and I broke the news to him, and he was elated, and he sent me a lovely message after saying how proud for him and his family, you know. So I know it meant the world to him to do that, to be given this opportunity, and that's why I know he's going to step up to the plate and absolutely deliver. And when you've got somebody of Aaron's quality, Rob, honestly, I've said in the past, I would pay to watch that man train. He's incredible, and while he is still playing top football, he's got a lot to give us, and we're gonna hang on to him for as long as we can.
The recall of Tom Bradshaw after some 5 years, was that just pure force of goals? Meant you had not no option, but it made you think, well, I've just got to pick this guy.
He's playing championship football. He scored 2 hat-tricks against 2 top teams in Watford. I can't remember the other team, but he scored 2 hat-tricks in the championship, and to do that, it is a great achievement. He's scoring goals at a good level at this moment in time, and he deserves his call-up again. You know, he's. I've worked with him in the past. He's a great character, and while you're scoring goals in the championship, I'm gonna take note, and I think he's thoroughly deserved his call-up.
Have you been able to check on Brennan Johnson's fitness, because he's got a groin problem? Will he be okay for Croatia, do you think? Yeah.
Brennan's probably an accumulation of a lot of minutes that he's had to play, you know, in a tough, demanding league where he has to be 100% all the time to get anything out of the games at that level. And I think it's just an accumulation of a bit of fatigue, and so we'll be sensible with it. We'll manage his loads and make sure that he's in the right place for the match day.
And last one from me. With the number of retirements, you talk about the squad, actually you said reset and reframe today. But previously you talked about evolution, but with the number of retirements, is it now more of a revolution that you need?
Yeah, look, Matty's in the room today, Matty Jones, our new under-21s manager, and we've got a great relationship, and as soon as we can get these new players up, we will. But we've got to do it, we've got to be sympathetic with it, Rob. We can't just make 6, 7, 8 changes at once. You know, the culture is massive for us. We've had this conversation recently, the staff again, and that's our level. You know, there's no egos in that change room. We can't just go and make 8, 10 changes straight away. So we'll sympathise, and we don't need it right now. Like I said, the starting 11 is not too different to the success we've had over the last 2 years. So, you know, the problem we've got, like we've always had, is my players are not playing as many minutes at domestic level, club level, as what I'd like them to be. So we're still having to manage that. But in the main, it's not wholesale changes. It's more of a evolving the group and introducing 2 or 3 younger players.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, Rob, the words new era appeared in the FAW press release this morning, and it feels like a new dawn for this side. To what extent will you drive that home to the players when they come into camp, and does that extend to the philosophies and the identity of the side moving forward?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, look, in the last couple of years, you know, I've inherited squads, I've inherited teams, I've inherited principles, ways, and now this is a fresh start. You know, so honestly, when I say this, the boys have been incredible to qualify for the World Cup. Brilliant. And I believe it's 2 steps forward, 1 step back. We've still improved and we've still learned from the experience of having a World Cup. We no longer hope to qualify for tournaments now. We believe there's a belief there in that group. So that's changed, that mindset, and we're going to build on that. So I've said, in the main, we've got the same team that's had us a success. By introducing now young, hungry players that are biting at the heels of those senior players for that jersey is only going to breed for a great environment. So that's the culture we want to create. We have done for the last 2 years and will continue to do for us to be successful again.
And just last one from me, Ruben Colwell, not part of the senior side in this sort of block of fixtures. Just explain the thinking there.
Yeah, so Ruben's not playing football at club level for whatever reason. I know he's struggled. He's still growing, believe it or not. And everybody in the room will know what I think of Ruben. I think he's a talented player. And in development football, you peak and you trough at different times. We just got to be sympathetic with his development. So to keep him involved in the Welsh way, with our culture and what we want to do and how we want to play, it's no shame whatsoever to go back with Matty with the 21s and have a couple of games. We've done it with Harry Wilson 3-4 years ago when Ryan was manager. I was under 21s manager. Harry dropped down and had a couple of games with me with the 21s. He was the best trainer, he was the best player by far. And I expect the senior players, or the players that have played for the senior team, if asked to drop back and play a couple of games, to do the same and be the best trainer and show those new young ones now, because there's a new batch of young under 21s coming in that are showing potential. He's got to go back down and show why he's been a part of my first team for the last couple of years.
Lawrence.
Yeah. Hiya, Rob.
Hi, Lawrence.
Just to go back to Aaron for a second. Do you think being captain sort of swayed his thinking in terms of his future with Wales, given the sort of the senior retirements that we saw?
No, I don't think there was any question with Aaron. Look, you know, he took it hard like many of us after the World Cup, myself included. You know, I struggled to watch the game when I got back, and I think Aaron being as passionate about the game as what we all are, it would have affected him as well. I don't think there was any doubt whatsoever of his future or wanting to continue to play. So I don't think that would have swayed his decision at all.
And just on that as well, obviously it's a new era. You've brought in the younger players, but the World Cup didn't go as well as you would have liked, or the fans. What's your message to the fans now, kind of going into this next period?
Yeah, it's the start of something special again for us. Like I said, you know, we've gone to the World Cup. We knew going into that World Cup we had to be at our very, very best from the first minute to the last minute of those games that we played. Okay, and we fell slightly short, and we'll have this conversation with the lads on camp before we box it off, that we fell short of the standards we set. That was the most disappointing thing for me. With that group of players, I believe there'll be continued success, absolutely, because there'll be lessons learned from that World Cup. So, monumental effort to get the World Cup. Didn't quite go our way, but we've learned from it. We won't let that happen again. Now we'll take those experiences into the next campaign, which is Germany. What more motivation do we need? You know, a great footballing nation that we want to be a part of. It'll be a tremendous tournament. And I said earlier, we believe now that we can qualify for these major tournaments. We don't just live in hope. We firmly believe we can do it. And like I said, with that fresh young faces coming into the group as well will help us achieve that.
Yeah, one of those fresh faces is Jordan James. Tell us a little bit about him. He's obviously made some great strides with Birmingham. I think already played 50 times at 18 in the Championship.
Yeah. Talk about, you know, experience, and Ethan falls into that category as well, the cap accumulation that we've managed to get him at such a young age. What I like about JJ is he's a little bit different to what we've got. You know, we've got the Joe Morels of the world, and which are unbelievable footballers and great talents, but not that, you know, 6'3", box-to-box midfielder. JJ trains with personality. He likes to tackle. He's very physical. He can pass the ball. I spoke to the manager of Birmingham before we went to the World Cup with my plans for wanting to take him and expose him to that environment, and he was very complimentary about JJ as a footballer, and I find it hard done by that he wasn't in the team really, because the two lads in there at the minute were playing really well. He's had to wait for his turn. He got on the other night. He's due to start again tonight, I'd imagine. So there's a bright future for him, providing he keeps working as hard as he does and learning. And no doubt he'll have a bright future with us, but he's a great talent.
And just finally for me, Ethan Ampadu, you sort of mentioned there, and another season in Italy where he's playing centre-back, centre midfield. Obviously, the World Cup, we saw him in central midfield. What is his future with you? Do you see him as a central midfielder going forward?
Well, yeah, the good thing is, look, without giving my team away and my plans, it's good when you've got a player that can play a couple of positions. And, you know, yeah, deep down, I probably think he's a better centre-back. And if we were to play, you know, with three centre-backs, I like him on that right-hand side. I've said it before, because now when you build, and certainly when you get into the middle third and the halfway line, he can step into midfield because it comes natural to him. Then he puts his midfielder head on. So he can play a multitude of positions, and when you've got somebody of his quality, then it helps with having to change tactics during the game as well sometimes. One of the biggest learnings we've had from the World Cup is that you have to be adaptable. You know, a lot of teams now build a certain formation and defend in a different formation. Having Ethan again allows you to be able to do that.
Okay, thank you. We'll leave it there.